Welcome to Putting Your Love in Revolution. I have a lot of beautiful slides, and unfortunately we're having some technical difficulties and they won't be coming. Yes, I know, I'm cursed. So I'm going to go ahead and do this without slides. My name's Dennis Pratt, and I'm the head of the Personal Growth Network, which is a network of about 40 different personal growth themes in the greater Boston area. And these are areas where basically we look at our lives and what's beneficial and how we can get more out of our lives. And that's really what I'm about. I'm about releasing the inner human potential. And my personal growth work is stuff that's actually releasing it from artificial constraints that are inside of us. And my libertarian work is releasing it from artificial external constraints. So I believe that we all have so much human potential, and we can have a much better world, except that we have these artificial constraints. Now I know here we're talking primarily about external constraints. The point that I'm going to make, though, is that the more we can connect people up with the beauty of what it is that we're moving towards, the more success we're going to have to convert them. So there's two steps. Basically, the first step is removing frustration. So let's say that somebody comes up to you and says, you know, I'm really concerned about the poor, and really what we need to do is we need to tax everybody and get the government to really take care of the poor. Now, do any of you kind of start, like, almost hold your breath? A part of your stomach kind of get tightened up, and you go, oh, and there's a frustration, it's the anger. And a good model of frustration, and I have a beautiful slide to this effect. A good model of frustration is the difference between what we expect to happen in the world and what the reality is. And the larger that gap is, the more we experience frustration. So, for example, for me, you know, I would be like, well, don't you realize the poor are really caused by the government? And I would think that they would see that taxation is theft. And I would think that they would want people to be more free. And I would think that they would be open to a message of freedom and nonviolence. And I would get so excited, you know, because here's my chance. You know, I can actually convert this person. And I can do it with just one short conversation. And they will see the beauty of nonviolent, peaceful cooperation to solve a problem like this. Well, the reality is, they're nowhere near that. The reality is, they think government is the solution to everything. They see no cost whatsoever. It takes enormous amounts of time to convert somebody. And the more that I think that my expectations should be real, the more frustration I'm going to feel, and the more I'm actually going to repel this person. I'm not even talking about adding love yet. I'm talking about repelling and pushing them away. So the first thing I have to do is I have to get okay with me with a different expectation, a more reasonable expectation. And I suggest 4 ways. The first one is empathy. So you're talking to a person whom we know has been indoctrinated from an early age in government schools. We know that they listen to the news all the time of government-intimidated media. We know that they live in an echo chamber where everybody around them has the same status opinion. So, of course, I shouldn't expect that they're thinking anything other than the indoctrination. And the indoctrination has given them good reasons to fear human freedom. As a matter of fact, they don't even know that human freedom is an issue. They think that they actually live in a free society. They don't have any conception. This is a free society. It's a free society in which we vote to steal from this group and give to that group. That's a free society. And they've been told how terrible it would be not to have government controlling everything. And so they're thankful that government will be there. and thankful that government will be protecting us. So that's reality. And so my expectations does not match up with reality. I also want to talk about what are the characteristics of somebody who's really going to be interested in a freedom message. Yeah, I think that the people here have characteristics that are different from the general population. We tend to be more visionary. We tend to think that we can actually change the world a little bit more. We have higher work ethic with that. We think that we're willing to work and go through the arguments and understand complex ideas where other people just wouldn't bother. We tend to be more logical, less faith-based. And so if something doesn't make sense, we're actually willing to say, you know, look, this doesn't make sense. I'm willing to discard this belief, and I will accept a new belief. Those characteristics are extremely rare, especially the combination of characteristics. So you're talking to somebody who's less able. When I'm approached by this person, I'm talking to somebody who's probably less abled. Now, when you talk to somebody, somebody has never seen a large body of water, and they're scared of swimming. Do you get really frustrated with them? No, they don't know about water. They've never been in the pool. You don't go, either swim or I'm just going to discard you out of my life. Right? If somebody's on crutches and going slowly down the stairs, we don't push them down. Right? We are kind. We have charity to people who may not have the skills that we have. The third area is respect for the difficulty. So, I'd like a show of hands here. How many people converted to libertarianism after one cocktail party conversation? Okay. How about after like a week of thinking about this and really, you were a statist before and then all of a sudden you saw the light? A week. A week. Wow. Okay, I'm impressed. A month? Anybody a month? Half year? Half year? About a half year? A year of thinking about this? Ooh, okay, good. Yeah. So for me, my major conversion was about a year and a half. But I debated and talked about this for every day and at a very high intellectual level. And few people I know would actually do that. And I'm still changing. There are beliefs that I had 20 years ago that I'm embarrassed about today. There are beliefs I had 5 years ago that I'm embarrassed to say that I actually had. So I'm still changing. So we know this is a long process. And so when someone comes up to you at a cocktail party and tells you how excited they are because the government's going to go and increase taxes to help the poor, and you feel that pain, maybe you say, look, I know this is going to be a long process with them. I'm going to accept that it's going to be a long process with them. And the last thing is to have a little bit of humility. Humility inside of us about how effective we are at converting people. So people have converted people here, I assume. They've helped other people see that human freedom is really important. Is that true? Raise your hand if you have converted someone. Okay, have you converted 5 people? 5? No? 5 people? Okay, so this is a hard job to do. The conversion, did it occur overnight? It took a long time, right? So the unrealistic expectation that we have, that somebody coming up to us, we can just say a few things, and all of a sudden, they will see the light. We know that's not going to be true. So the question really is, what's a more realistic expectation that we can have? I'm going to use, so this is an experiential workshop. And what that means is that we're going to actually do things with each other and try some things out and talk to each other. So we're going to do a one-to-one. And what this looks like is, Carla, can I borrow you for a second, honey? So please welcome Carla Mora. Come on, up. All right, Carla will be my beautiful assistant.
I love you. I'm only doing this because I love you.
So, so the one-to-one looks like this. I will ask the questions to her, and I'm going to have to, because we don't have actually them on a slide, I'll have to remind you by the microphone. But tell me someone with whom you were really frustrated. The name of someone you were really frustrated with when you were talking to them about human freedom.
Julia.
Julia. Okay, what was the unrealistic expectation that you had for her or for you?
That I would just speak a few words, and knowing her and her heart and who she is, that she'd say, oh, sure, you're right, and I'm going to look into this, and I'm going to go that way. Like, get into it.
And what would be a more realistic expectation?
I'm going to share something that I'm passionate about and hope one day that she sees that welcomes it or considers it at the very least.
And that's it. Then we'll swap. Okay? So find a partner, find somebody who's next to you or behind you or around you. And thank you, Carla. Thank you very much. Poor Carla, she said. Yay, Carla. So find a partner, and one of you guys decide who's going to be partner A, and by tapping the other person on the shoulder. So do we have a partner A on there? The other person will be partner B. Are you guys paired up? Okay. So partner A will answer the questions first. So look at your partner, and yeah, if you're not really feeling comfortable, you can do one of the older shoulders look. Yeah, these guys are full on. So, tell your partner who is someone with whom you've been frustrated with. Okay, partner A. What was the unrealistic expectation about them or about you? All right, partner A. What would be a more realistic expectation to have? Okay, it's partner B's turn. You guys pretty much finished? Partner B, who was someone that you were pretty frustrated with when talking about human freedom? What was the unrealistic expectation that you had? For them or for you? And what would be a more realistic expectation? Okay? So I suggest that you do this and just check in with yourself. Because the closer that you can get your expectation to what reality is going to be like, the less frustration you're going to have. And the more frustration you have, the more you're repelling them. The less frustration, you're actually going to be open to be able to give them more of what I think this movement's really about, which is love of other people. So let's say that we are able to remove the frustration. The next step is adding the love. And the number one tool I'm going to give you guys is gratitude. Gratitude and appreciation are the gigantic levers that you can use to connect with people. And gratitude, I differentiate these two basically by gratitude being something inside of me, for what am I really grateful with this person. And appreciation is actually specifically stating to somebody about what it is that I appreciate them. So I think we'll do a mingle, and and I'm going to use Carla again. So Carla, come on up. I should just have you sitting here. Thank you, hon. So she's actually done these types of exercises before. So in the mingle, we've actually have some space here. You can move around. But the idea is to get to as many people as possible. So when somebody is not being attended to, you go up to them and you just stand in front of them and look at them. And now this person is going to transform into somebody with whom you've had some tension in the past. Somebody maybe you've talked to about human freedom, and it hasn't actually gone that well for you. Okay, so I would look at her and I would say, Peter. And she looks like Peter a lot. And I want to connect with something that is genuine about my gratitude or appreciation that I really have for Peter here. Peter, thank you for being open enough to talk to me about these subjects. It really means a lot to me. These subjects are really important. And you're so smart, and it's so great to have someone to just talk to about. Now, I've just given him a little bit of appreciation for something that he actually gave to me. And it has to be genuine. Okay? Do you have someone whom you know whom you might be able to give some appreciation to?
You mean as Peter?
No.
Myself.
Yes, I want you to project.
Many people.
Okay, so whom have you talked to that you'd like to give appreciation to?
Well, I'll give it back to Julia because.
Okay, so talk to me. I'm Julia. Say
Okay.
Julia.
Julia, I really appreciate what I see in you, and it's love and caring and compassion. And you fight for things that you believe in. Although I don't agree with the path, I think the ideas are true and beautiful, but I don't believe in the path and the end means.
Great. So do you see how Julia might actually be able to hear that and hear the appreciation and be a little bit more open to the message? So what I'd like to do is, if you wouldn't mind standing up, I know this is the scary part, and I'd like you to find people around you, and they can turn into anybody you want. So anybody whom you've talked to in the past, and just say thank you, their name, and what I appreciate about you. So after the other person is finished, see if you can find one more partner. Find one more partner and There you go. All right, bring that to a close. Did both partners get a chance to talk? Raise your hand if you need a little bit more time. All right, the second big tool to use is inspiration. Okay? Now, we have this fantastic view of a free society, of how people could actually live. So often we're just reacting against something in the past, and we don't bring our vision forward. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to just get comfortable a little bit. Maybe close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. But think about sometime in the future, maybe about 10 years from now, and you're really excited. You're really excited because guess what? You live in a free society. A miracle has happened and you live in a free society. What's different for you? How is your relationship different with your neighbors? Is your family different? Is your job different? Is your community different? Are there different types of businesses? So what is your vision about this free society that you're so excited to work for? All right, so we're going to mingle again. I know you're so excited about that. Stand up for just a second. And go to somebody and say, in a free society, blank, what's going to happen? So for me, for example, in a free society, we're going to have a lot more community programs where people are going to get together voluntarily and work together to solve problems. In a free society that I'm working towards, people are going to be much richer than they are now. There's going to be a whole slew of new types of businesses and new ways of interacting with each other. So what does a free society mean to you? Share. And if somebody says something that's cool for you, share it with the next person. So in a free society, what do you see? You can come down. Go back there, Vivian, chase him down. Share with someone else. You can share another idea of what you see in a free society. Yeah, for you. You know, what, 10 years in the future, you're living in a free society. What's different? No, people are mingling, and so they're chatting with each other, and they're saying, in a free society. Oh, great. Well, share it with them. Share it with them. All right, you can start to bring that to a close. All right, start to bring that to a close. Now, how do you feel? Do you feel more inspired? Do you see a vision? Okay, and how would you describe that? What's the feeling inside that you have? All right, so you feel empowered. Does anyone feel something other than empowered? Happy. What else? Connected. Okay, what else? Excited. So these are the feelings that we use to inspire other people. So this is, whatever that feeling is, for me it would be peace. I would feel at peace. But whatever that is, that's the quality that you need to bring into yourself and really connect when you talk to somebody, especially when you start to share your vision. So they get it not just at an intellectual level, but they get it at an animal reptilian level. That you really are connected and happy and at peace, and that this is something that's important to them. So I'm going to go over, there's a few more tools, and I think what I'll do is I'll give a kind of a comprehensive example of how to use them. But a lot of times, it's funny because we tend to be an optimistic group because we really are looking at how do we create this new, brand new future, yet we oftentimes are pessimistic. And we talk about, well, this probably will never happen, and oh my God, all these terrible things are happening to us, and it really doesn't invite people to jump on board. So remember, there was 1% to 2% of the U.S. population were abolitionists in 1950, right? We're all abolitionists now, at least for chattel slavery. So just because it doesn't look like there's fantastic movement, that doesn't mean there isn't. And I do think, personally, I have certainty. If you have any certainty that this is something that's going to pick up, that people are actually going to see the beauty of human freedom, share it with them. Another thing is to acknowledge them how hard this is. This is a hard concept for them to get. And just acknowledging to them, say, no, I know how hard this is because it goes against everything that you've been taught. Or with poor Peter, right? Everything that he's worked for. He has actually tried to regulate businesses, and that's what his job has been. And I understand how hard it would be. There's good reasons for these people not to be interested in this message. And so just acknowledge, say, I know it's hard, but give them an assurance. And I think that you'll get it. I think that you'll understand it. I think you'll see the beauty here. I think you'll see the hope here. I think you'll see the peace, the happiness, whatever that feeling is for you. Offer your support. You're there. You're more than happy to talk to them, and to work through. And always connect with them on their issue. So, I started off with a woman who comes up and says that she's so excited. She really wants to increase the taxes because she wants the government to take all the money from the rich and give it to the poor, and that will solve all the problems. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is take a deep breath, okay? I need to let go of that frustration because it's just not going to be useful. All right? I cannot love this person and be frustrated with them at the same time. And then the next thing I have to do is I have to actually connect. Okay, empathy. She's been indoctrinated. She believes this stuff. Right? She may not have the skills to understand this really quickly, and it takes a long time to do it. And I am a poor communicator. I cannot actually communicate this idea right now to this person. What can I do that might be a realistic expectation? Realistic expectation might be that she's actually curious a little bit more. She's open. So what might I do? I might start with connection. I too am really concerned about the poor. That's actually one of the reasons why I became a libertarian. The poor really it's such a big issue, and it's been going on for so long. And I think that there's an answer. I think that there's an exciting answer. And give appreciation. I just love your concern for that, because this is my issue too. I mean, this is so important. It's actually one of the biggest issues around. People have been trying to fight this problem for millennia. And so, and I really appreciate your interest and excitement about this. And I'm so excited that you're talking to me. Maybe even later I'll talk to her and say, thank you for even hearing me out. I appreciate it. Now, my vision is one of peace and community. And so, in a free society, people are going to work together to conquer the poor. People are going to be so rich. First of all, there's going to be so little poor. And then people are going to want to work together. And you're going to actually see communities getting together to help each other. And it's going to be so much better because it's going to be person-to-person types of interaction. So give them your vision, but give them the hope and give them the peace. And give them some certainty. I'm sure this is the direction that we're moving. I believe it. I think that we'll be there, and I know that you'll be able to see it too. Talk to me anytime, because I understand how hard this is for you. I understand that this goes totally against everything that you've been taught. But I think it's such a beautiful thing, and thank you so much for giving me a chance to share this with you. Now, are they converted? No, but at least they're not walking away totally angry. I'm never going to talk to that person again. I'm not interested in this freedom thing. I may have actually sparked something and given them something so that a year down the road, 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, they're actually well in the camp of human freedom. So anyway, that's my message. Remove the frustration and add the love.